Calm down, people.
Calm down. We will be getting into this real soon. I just need you to calm down. We're going to get into this. Yes, we are going to get into this. All right.
Right? Peace. This is Politics as Usual with your boy Juice Wanna. Oh, your gritty style. Yes. Don't forget to check out the book, Street Scoutsy Knock 'em Out the Box, along with some junky apparels to support the channel. Don't forget to hit the like, the subscribe, and the notification bell so you can always get the newest content. Now that we got that out the way, I'm gonna take this where we left off on the charlatan, right? And the quacker. Because I've when we left off, I was explaining to you how the medical industry, at least the psychological part of it, psychology and all of that, is a hustle, is a scheme, right? To make sure that the king, right, has his subjects in line. So you're watching big nations being controlled through manipulation, let's say. Right? So we're going to get into this. I'm going to take you back over to the charlatan, right? So let's go back over here real quick, people. All right? So I read this yesterday, and I'm going to just take it up from here. It goes, the charlatan, also called the swindler or Montebank, is a person practicing quackery or a similar confidence trick in order to obtain money, fame, or other advantages through pretenses or deception. Synonyms for charlatan include shyster, quack, a fake. Quack is a reference to a quacker or a practice of dubious medicine, including the sales of snake oil, or a person who does not have medical training who purports to provide medical services. Now, you could see a lot of the doctors, they'll prescribe things to you that they tell you they don't really know. You know what I mean? We just trying to figure it out. So they're using you as the guinea pig. So most of those times, those medications are basically, quackery. You know what I mean? And snake oils. You know what I mean? They just that because they got an office now. They went to school for certain things. These other things become a testing ground, right? A new medication, Viagra, whatever, it comes across their desk. They get paid X amount of money to promote it. And there you go. So a lot of times we are still dealing with a quackery. And we are definitely dealing with charlatans, pumping off, snake oil. Right? So then we go to quackery. Often synonymous. Okay, one is blinking. It goes, often synonymous with health fraud. Right? Is the promotion of fraudulent or ignorant medical practices. A quack is a fraudulent or ignorant pretender to medical skills, or a person who pretends professionally or publicly to have skills, knowledge, qualifications, or credentials they do not possess. A charlatan or snake oil salesman, the term quack is a clipped form of the archaic term quacksilver from Dutch, right? A hawker of salvies. In the Middle Ages, the term quack meant shouting. A quacksilver sold their wares in the market, shouting loud. We go shouting loud, shouting in a loud voice. See the voice over there, right? All right. I just wanted to make sure y'all seen that come up there. And you understand, the hustle. Common elements of general quackery include questionable diagnosis, use questionable diagnostic tests, as well as untested and unrefuted treatments, especially for serious diseases such as cancer. Quackery is often described as health fraud, with a salient characteristics of aggressive promotion. So when we look at these commercials and they give you all of these possible side effects, and then they making sure that you cannot sue them, and that's quackery. So just because you see it on TV and you see a backing behind it does not mean that it's still not fraudulent. You know what I mean? It doesn't mean that. It doesn't say no because you put it on TV is not fake. Shit, anybody with a budget can put something on TV. You know what I mean? So then, we're going to go down to the etymology. The word comes from French, charlatan, a seller of medicines, who might advertise his presence with music and outdoor stage show. Now you still got commercials, right? We still got commercials, and we still got the stage show in the music based on those commercials, right? What's the difference? Right? The best known of the Persian charlatans was Tabrin, whose skits and faces were influenced by comediana, right? Comedians, inspired these are all whatever words, I don't know. The word can also be traced to Spanish, charlatan, a indiscreetly talkative person, a chatterbox. Ultimately, euthymologists trace charlatan from either the Italian carli to chatter or prattle, or from Corintido, a resident of Corintido, a village in Umbria known for its quacks. I'm saying the name wrong of the cities. That's you could go. You could go look it up yourself. You know what I mean? You get the message though. Basically this system of bullshit, you could even go to a certain place and see it brewing there. You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? Then we got confidence trick. A confidence trick is an attempt to defraud a person or group after first gaining their trust. A confidence trick exploits victims using their cruelty, naive, compassion, vanity, confidence, irresponsibility, and greed. Researchers have defined confidence tricks as a distinctive species of fraudulent conduct intended to further voluntarily exchange that are not mutually beneficial, as they benefit con operators, con men, at the expense of their victims, the mark. Right? But if you notice, what did I highlight right here? Huh? Operators. The same terms used when you're dealing with hypnosis. It's the same term. You understand what I'm saying? So there's nothing that is not the same. They are one and the same. The hustle of mesmerism, getting you caught up in the light show, the cameras in action, allows you to be manipulated and hypnotized and mesmerized by the events at hand. Right? Terminology. Synonyms include confidence, game, confidence, scheme, ripoff, scam, and stratagem. The perpetrators of the confidence trick or con trick is often referred to as a confidence or con man, con artist, or a grifter. The shell game dates back at least to ancient Greece. All right? Bring that up here for you. I want y'all to see this right here. Right? The shell game dates back to at least ancient Greece. Now, the Greece, they've been pushing, the whole philosophy, Socrates and all of them, right? Thinking, that they're smarter. You know what I mean? So when I point out 3-card mining or the shell game, you understand that I'm not reaching. I'm not just pulling something out of nowhere. These things that I'm saying are all connected. It's the scheme, the same scheme you might go into a lodge and find, depending on if you go into the right one. You don't know which one you're getting into unless you've been invited into, right? All right. So, Samuel Thomas, all right? I'm gonna make sure I'm on the I haven't hit the other. Okay, nah. Okay, where we at? Samuel Thompson, 1821 to 1856. They didn't live long. Was the original confidence man. Thompson was a clumsy swindler who asked his victims to express confidence in him by giving him money or their watch rather than gain their confidence in a more nuanced way. A few people trusted Thompson with their money and watches. Thompson was arrested in July 1849, reporting about this arrest. James Houston, a reporter of the New York Herald, publicized Thompson by naming him the confidence man. Although Thompson was an unsuccessful scammer, he gained the reputation as a genius operator. Mostly because Thompson's sarcastic tone was not understood as such. The National Police Gazette coined the term confidence game a few weeks after Houston first used the name confidence man. Right? A confidence trick is also known as a con game. a con, a scam, a grift, a hustle, a bunko or bunko, a swindle, a flim flam, a gaffle, or a bamboozle. The intended victims are known as marks, suckers, stooges, mugs, rubes, or gulls from the word gullible. When accomplished are employed, they are known as shills. All right? All right. Did I go past that already? Yeah, my fault. Let's see here. All right, so we went through that. So now we up to length and strategies, right? We about to take a break in a minute, so I'm gonna see if I can get this out. It goes, in short, cons or small cons is the fast swindle which takes just minutes, possibly seconds. It typically aims to rob the victim of money or other valuables which they carry on their personal or are guarding. A long con or big con, also chiefly British English, long game, is a scam that unfolds over several days or weeks. It may involve a team of swindlers and even prop sets, extras, costumes, and script lines. It aims to rob the victims of huge sums of monies or valuables, often by getting them to empty out bank accounts and borrow from family members. All right, we're going to take a break in another 5 seconds. Okay. So we are back in the building, people. All right. Hold on, let me make sure my clock is running. All right. Okay. All right. All right. So now let's cover the stage. Right? So, in Confessions of a Confidence Man, Edward A. Smith lists the 6 definite steps or stages of growth of a confidence game. He notes that some steps may be omitted. It is also possible some can be done in a different order than the one shown or carried out simultaneously. All right? Okay. Foundation work. Preparations are made in advance of the game, including the hiring of any assistance required and studying the background knowledge needed for the role. So, you got the traveling man in Freemasonry. So, your traveling man, he travels the rough and rugged road, right? So you can hire people, right? And they could step in, and due to the fact that they are not known, it could be a value to them, right? Approach. The victim is approached or contacted. Build up. The victim is given an opportunity to profit from participating in a scam, right? The victim's greed is encouraged, such that their rational judgment of the situation might be impaired. Payoff or convincer. The payoff or convincer. The victim receives a small payout as a demonstration of the scheme's purported effectiveness. This may be a real amount of money or fake in some way, including physical or electronical. In a gambling con, the victim is allowed to win several small bets. In a stock market con, the victim is given fake dividends. The hoorah, right? The sudden manufactured crisis or change of events forces the victim to act or make a decision immediately. This is the point at which the con succeeds or fails. With a financial scheme, the con artist may tell the victim that the window of opportunity to make a large investment in the scheme is about to suddenly close forever. Right, I'm gonna get into a story after this because I'm gonna tell you, some crazy shit. Right, and the in and out in a conspirator in or on the con, but assumes the role of an interested bystander, puts the amount of money into the same scheme as the victim to add an appearance of legitimacy. This can reassure the victim and give the con man greater control when the deal has been completed. Right? In addition, some games require a cooperation step, particularly those involving a fake but purportedly rare item or of great value. This usually includes the use of an accomplice who plays the part of an uninvolved, intentionally skeptical third party who later confirms the claim may be made by the con man. Right? Let me tell you something, right? When I had first came home, right? And mind you, I was in court. You know what I mean? So people that I knew, right, that I personally knew, came at me and tried to hustle me with this same logic, but they was doing some it's a pyramid scheme, but they wasn't acting like it was a pyramid. It was flowers, petals. So you had like these 10 petals on the flower, right? And those are supposed to be you in the circulating of money and this is the opportunity to get it. All of the stuff. And I'm looking at them, and I'm like, wow, you really think that I'm that stupid? Right. And the worst part is to be people that's around me. I mean, people that I really looked at with, love. Like real love. Like, I can't even believe you would run that on me like that. You know what I mean? And so, and at the point that you didn't know who was involved and who really wasn't. Right? Because this was around the time of the, the stimulus checks and all of that. So they had started this up and you know, one person, oh nah, you know, I got such and such, you know, acting like they vouching for me and all of that. I'm like, nah, nigga, get the fuck out of here. First of all, the person who was acting like they was vouching for me was acting like he was in hiding from me. You can't fucking vouch for me if you the one who's acting like you fucking living in a cave somewhere and nobody can fucking know about you. You think I'ma fucking trust you? And then to find out that the person, the schemer, was actually, you know, his girlfriend or somebody he was messing with, and the other person involved was, you know, the wife of somebody I know. So I just looked at it like, nah, this is. So I didn't say nothing up until this moment right here. I never said nothing about it. You know, because I'm the type of person, I don't believe in cutting the grass to let the snake to see, you know, I watch where the grass is at and I know where the snake is at. That's how I give it up. So, you know, I didn't never say nothing before this moment, but yeah, there's people that, you know, will know you and will do it to you. So don't be fooled by this shit. Right? Vulnerability factors. Confidence tricks exploit characteristics such as greed, dishonesty, vanity, opportunism, lust, compassion, crudelty, irresponsibility, discretion, and naivety. Right? Naivety. To be naive. Right? So, like I said, I was in the need of money while I was in court, hoping that, you know, they could either catch my lust or my greed. Right? This is, you know, in my, you know, hoping that I would be naive. But I asked questions. I heard the questions. Oh yeah, sign this. Oh, when you put the money right on the check, that it's a gift. You know what I mean? I'm like, yo, listen, man. Anywhere legally, once you write gift on the car on the check, that's it. Once you say gift, you have already acknowledged the fact that this is no longer yours. So you couldn't even walk into a court of law and argue that. Because all it's gonna say is you gave it to the person as a gift. And they're gonna put it in somebody else's name, so then you just arguing with the wind. You know what I'm saying? So these are the type of people that I just stopped fucking around. Amongst other sucker shit that I seen, but you know, this is one of the things that I just looked and was like, and I still was dealing with people after that. You know, just to see, you know, their quality of person. And then once I realized, nah, it's them, you know what I mean? They probably in desperate times right now. You know, the PPP loans and stuff like that. So they didn't give a fuck who they was going to do the dirt to, as long as you wouldn't be able to point back at them. Remember, it's in somebody else's name. So the devil could still be sitting right next to you and you blaming somebody else. You know what I mean? So I'll sit right next to the devil and watch the devil and then, you know, pull a rug right under them. All right. As such, there is no consistent profile of a confidence trick victim. The common factor is simply that the victim relies on the good faith of the con artist. Right? Victims of investment scams tend to show an incursion level of greed and gullibility, and many con artists target the elderly and other people thought to be vulnerable, using various forms of confidence tricks. Researchers Hung and Orchard argued Cons succeed for inducing judgment error, chiefly errors arising from imperfect information or cognitive biasness. In popular culture and among professional con men, the human vulnerability that cons exploit are depicted as dishonesty, greed, and gullibility. Of the mark's dishonesty, often represented by the expression, "you can't cheat an honest man," refers to the willingness of the mark to participate in unlawful acts, such as rigged gambling or embezzlement. Right? Greed, the desire to get something for nothing, is the shorthand expression of Marx. Benefit that's too good to be true. Gains are realistic. Like I said, you approach somebody, oh, yo, everybody put in an X amount of money and the money circulates and all you got to do is put back and wait for your turn. The whole spiel of bullshit, man. You know what I mean? And gullibility reflects belief that marks are suckers and fools for entering into costly, valuable exchanges. Judicial opinions occasionally echo these sentiments. See? So it'll come down to you being your own fault. You got in your own way. You know, so me, you know, I guess they was hoping that I'd be, you know, because of the court thing and needed money, you know. I'm like, yeah, but I'm not going to take a risk, especially when I know that that's a pyramid scheme. Like, I've been hustling my whole life. I know 3 called money. Trust me, man, I know the game. So, I mean, I used to hang out, go down to, like, Chinatown, Canal Street, and all of that. And you can get shells, meaning that not shells for like nuts and stuff. I mean like electronic casing shells, meaning that say laptops, right? You can buy just the shell, just the the casing, and so you could fill it up with newspapers or whatever to give it weight, and to have the plug and all of that, and you selling this stuff. You know, so me being a type of person, like I said, who's known the streets since I was a young kid, I wouldn't understand why a bunch of people who have not been in the streets like me would think that I would be the person that you could run that game on. Like, that was just amazing to me. Like, nigga, y'all niggas ain't even taking real risks to be thinking that somebody like me would fall from that from somebody like you. First of all, I wouldn't even fall for it from the people that really do it. How the fuck I'm gonna fall for it for a bunch of peons who think they doing something slick? Get the fuck out of here. You know what I mean? That's how I handled it. Like, yeah, whatever. I put everybody on point, but what bothered me was even the people that I was putting on point didn't seem to be bothered by it. So I said, oh, they must all be in on it. You know what I mean? Cons, cause me, I'm ready to smack the shit out of somebody like, oh no, that's such and such girlfriend. So you telling me that this person that's running this game on you, and then when we approach the person on can this, sustain itself, and they certified that it can't, you still cool with them. You don't even see them as somebody trying to do you dirty. So I got to look at you as, yeah, you was in on the scheme. That's just only way I can look at it. Because how could I be upset? You was about to lose money. You was about to get your family involved. Them investing money into this. Your friends and people you know. And the only way for you to get your money back is to do it to somebody else. That's what made me say, yeah, these ain't my peoples. You know what I mean? These just ain't my peoples. You know what I mean? Cons succeeded for including judgment errors, chiefly errors arising from imperfect information. Wait, I already read that. Gulliby effects echoes the statement. Accomplices, also known as shills, help manipulate the mark into accepting the perpetrator's plan. In a traditional confidence trick, the mark is led to believe that he will be able to win money or receive some benefits by doing some task. The accomplice may pretend to be strangers who have benefited from performing a similar task in the past. So this is once again, like I told you, the flower peddlers. What they were saying it's the moo moo cuckoo susu susu. I think it is susu. Right, and this is this African thing of putting out and all of this bullshit. You know what I mean? And like I said, I guess people would really not know how in tune I really am. You know what I mean? So just because I didn't say nothing, I guess the people would assume now he ain't keen. I mean, I said something about it and all of that, but I never pointed at them and said, you motherfuckers is down with this too. You understand what I'm saying? So why? Because I wanted to see at what level would a person take it. So then you seen a whole bunch of dirtbag shit and you be like, oh, so you come at me like that, you know what I mean? So there's no reason for me to fuck with you. You know what I mean? All I would be doing from that point is screwing myself over. Right? A shill, also called a plant or a stooge, is a person who publicly helps or gives credibility to a person or organization without disclosing that they have a close relationship with said person or organization. Shills can carry out their operation in the area of media, journalism, marketing, politics, sports, confidence games, and other business areas. A shill may also act to discredit opponents or critics of the person or organization in which they have a vested interest. So now we are in the lodge again, and we see a system that allows people to hide, right? Right? So let's give you a little update. Right? So I'm over here breaking up some trees. So as you can see, hold on. Let me show you. I got some trees in my hand here. I got some nice buds. You know what I'm saying? So, as you can see, if you know anything about masonry, it's about if you see your brother in any type of thing, you're supposed to help and join in. And these are how they do it. You know what I mean? To be in a lodge secretly and know that certain things, and then when you see it in other places, you aid in the bed because you can get a piece of it too. You understand what I'm saying? So the confidence in the hustle scheme, the underground is a whole union in itself. I know, you know what I'm saying? Like I said, I've never joined a lodge or, per se certain gangs and stuff like that, although I have been affiliated. You know what I mean? So through my affiliation allowed me to gain a greater understanding of the trick that's being played, because I was dealing with different organizations as well. So in talking with them and never really, even though the system might promote banging and fighting each other, that doesn't mean that everybody in it has to play that role. You know what I mean? So me, I've was fairly, wise, and when it came to avoiding and, like I said, neighborhood conflicts, hanging on blocks, and you know what I mean, like that type of thing. I was always good on that, so I always knew how to avoid the pettiness, because the doors were open to communicate with all sides. You see, 'cause if you only stay on one block, oh, you can't fuck with them niggas over there. And see, if you don't do that, when you run into people all around the world, when you run into people, those same people somewhere else, it's not the same. Your communication and open dialogues can sustain itself because you never involved yourself with such um minuscule things. But forgive me, I'm over here breaking up some trees. But you understand what I'm saying? Like, because you never got caught up in all of the small stuff, you become a big person in environments where they need that. Like, say you incarcerated, right? And you know all of the players, and even though you might been on one side, you don't make excuses for the people in there, and you don't make that as a reason for you not to have an open communication with the other side. So all parties begins to respect you. You know what I mean? Just due to the fact of that. These are the things that I learned. And inside of learning that, you also learn to spot these agents. These people who are meant to just be there to cause some type of confusion. To aid in the bed, some bullshit. Like when you say something and you look at them, right? Or they look for you to co-sign some shit. You be like, me, I've never been a good co-signer. You know what I mean? My ability of co-signing is just basically not saying nothing. Because I'm very vocal on bullshit. You know what I mean? So a lot of times, if I don't want to blow somebody's spot up, the best thing I can just do for them is just not say a goddamn thing. You know what I mean? Like, because I'm not really with it. If unless I see, like, there's some benefit in it, for all parties. You know what I mean? I'm not with it. So usually I'll co-sign something outside of, us. So if it's somebody else, and you rocking them, I'll co-sign you. I'll give you the co-sign then. You know what I'm saying? I'll give you the co-sign then. But anything else, I'm not really with it. And shit, I'm not one of them people that's gonna, yo, right, I was moving 80 bricks. I guess. What they got to do with me? You know what I'm saying? What that got to do with me? All right, let me go back over here real quick, people. All right. Okay, so we over at the shill, right? A shill, also called a planner or stoogie, is a person who publicly helps or gives credibility to a person or organization without disclosing that they have close relationships with said person or organizations. Shills can carry out their operations in the area of media, journalism, marketing, politics, sports, confidence games, or other business areas. Now, I highlighted this because that's important to understand that the hustle is not limited to what you think it is. You might think, oh, the hustle is just street corner. But this hustle works on all levels. But if your mind cannot get past the street, then that's as far as you're going to see its value. You're not going to be able to see it on the big stage. Right? Whether it be, politics through, local or world stage. You're not even going to be able to see all of the players if you don't understand the game. Right? And so I'm showing you that this system is huge. It's not a play system. Like this system is set up way before you. You understand what I'm saying? Way before you. So you are walking into something thinking that you know the game, but since you don't realize that this shit was set up before you don't know how to pinpoint the damage. Me, I looked at the start of things, right? I wanted to know the history of something. And inside knowing the history of it, I was able to break the code. You understand what I'm saying? So if you allowing somebody else to give you the information, unless they like me, you know what I mean, willing to put it all out there, you not gonna and this is how you see Freemasonry to be a dangerous thing, because you fucking with people money. The whole Malcolm X, get your hand out my pockets. Goddamn weed in my mouth. All right. Put some of this buds back in. As you can see, I still got buds left. All right. Okay. So, now you can understand why this is a dangerous thing, because the people who they utilize for this field are dangerous people. Me, I guess I could be considered, somebody like that in my own right. I'm willing to use it to free the people, not enslave them, not, put them under pressure, intimidate them, and all of that. So inside of seeing that is when I realized, the difference. I gotta be me regardless. I'm not gonna bend or fold to this. Once you put this out here, you have accepted everything that comes your way. I accepted it. You know what I mean? So this is only one part. When we really get to, now I'm just showing you how this operates, how this works. We haven't even scratched the surface yet. We are still in the workshop. I haven't explained to you who these operators are yet. You understand what I'm saying? I just showed you how they got you, how they manipulated you through the gangs, through religion, and music and TV and these type of things. Those are what they manipulated you with, and these are the people, the Masons, the handshakes, and these things where they were able to know each other in their task and know when to aid and abet somebody else in that task. You understand what I'm saying? So we'll be getting into the Malcolm X part of get your hands out of my pocket later. You know what I mean? In this hustle. You know what I mean? I'm gonna move this out the way here. All right. So where we at? Show strong, sports confidence game and other business areas. A shill may also act as a discrete opponent or critic to a person or organization in which they have a vested interest. Right? In most uses, shrills refer to someone who purposely gives onlookers, participants, or marks the impression of an enthusiastic customer independent of the seller. Like I told you, you in a 3-card money game. You see the geeky white dude come up with the suitcase and he wins the game. He's in on it. You know what I'm saying? You see the girl like, ooh, when do I want to pick this one? She's in on it. Right? Okay. Mark. The impression of an enthusiastic customer independent of the seller, marketer, or con artist for whom they are secretly working. Keyword secretly. Remember, Freemasonry. So I've never once taken you out of a system. Right? I'm just giving you all of the practices and things one uses in this field. And you might think, oh wow, I can do 3-card money. That ain't nothing, right? And you can get a little teeny, but you got to get into the right lodge. They could have you doing way more than this. We just told you, right? They get into, where we at here? Marks, see, I fucked it. I'm supposed to highlight. Yeah. Media, journalism, marketing, politics, sports, right? Confidence games and other business of areas. Right? In most uses, shrill refer to who supposedly gives, right? Crowd, okay, wait, sellers, marketer, artists for whom they are secretly working for, right? The person or group in league with the shill allies on crowd relies on crowd psychology to encourage others, onlookers, or audience members to do business with the seller or accept the idea they are promoting. All right. Shills may be employed by salespeople or professional marketing campaigns. Plants and stooges may commonly refer to a person who is secretly in league with another person or outside organization while pretending to be neutral or part of the organization in which they are planted. Same as a magician's audience or a political party, or an intelligence organization. See, double agent. So, as we understand the concept of Freemasonry, we step back and we can see the trainings and learnings in the lodge, because each person gets to learn the same tactic. Each one of them can be the master at the lodge and basically perform the task themselves. So each seat, each person sits in for the scam, so they can understand it in its totality. Right? Encouraged on, okay. Shills may be employed by, salesperson, right? Plants, boom, boom. Politics, intelligence organizations, right? Shilling is illegal in many circumstances and under many jurisdictions, because of the potential for fraud and damage. However, FA Shield does not place uniform parties at a risk of loss. The Shield's actions may be legged. I don't know. I don't think I got that whole thing. Well, let me pull that up for you real quick here. All right, hold on. Shell, leg, organization, random members, audience, tight legal shells, right? Which one was that again? Was we in that's his leg, right? So I don't know where the hell the leg part is at. Applaud, outside, wow, natural organizations, political organizations, shares of circumstances, legal. Okay. I knew it was something wrong with that shit. Copy, right? Let's go back over here. All right. Hold on. Paste that in there for y'all. Right? Where we at? Shills is illegal in many circumstances and under many jurisdictions because of the potential for fraud and damage. However, FA Shield does not place uniform parties at a risk of loss. The Shield's actions may be illegal. Right? For example, a person planted in an audience to laugh and applaud when desired, or to participate in an on-stage activity as a random member in the audience is a legal type of shill. Okay? Just understand that. So I'm like I said, I'm gonna get into the whole how this works. Right? I'm breaking it down to you. I'm showing you a system of psychology and all of that came out of a con. So when did it clean itself up? When did it clean itself up? When it's controlling the people through manipulations, through things as shields. Right? When Freemasonry is the con, while they're getting con too, they don't even realize, most of them don't realize, 90% of them right? So as we look at this, we can safely say that yes, there is a system that operates under the radar, right? And like I said, they do not realize that they are being rocked as well. So within, that's why you might like granddaddy Shabazz used to say within the 5% is the 10%. Right? So even within an organization that's supposed to tell the truth, there's still have the 10% within it, the liars, the cheaters, and all of that within that same thing. Right? Okay, so let's go to the next thing what we got here. Crowd psychology. Right? Crowd psychology, also known as mob psychology, is a branch of social psychology. Social psychologists have developed several theories for explaining the way in which the psychology of a crowd differs from and interacts with that of the individuals within. All right. Major theorists in crowd Major theorists in crowd psychology include, right, Gustave Le Bon, Gabriel Trude, and who? Who? Sigmund Freud, once again. Remember, I was telling you about the Freudian slip when they was talking about psychology, and I was explaining that this is how they promoted homosexuality within, the black community with stuff like pause, whoa, whoa, no homo. Though, even though it was saying that, it kept you thinking psychologically, subliminally in your mind as you play that game. And then what you really do before yourself, you entwine the youth into that game. Right? But when the youth are indoctrinated in that game, their TV shows and everything else gives a different promotion. The overall promotion versus your mouthing something, you just a utensil for the manipulation. Right? This field relates to behaviors and thought process of both the individual crowd members and the crowd as an entity. Right? Remember when I tell you about what you call it, the mall riots and how you see the malls closed because they introduced Cyber Monday or whatever fucking day, right? But before then they kept these random, well, it started off as random with Cabbage Patch and Elmo, but then it escalated to things that wouldn't even make sense, people fighting over. Now you just see it just in full bloom chaos where anything in an outing causes this. KFC and the chicken, and these are setups. They trying to see what they can get out of the crowd. Well, crowd behavior is heavily influenced by the loss of responsibility of the individual and the impression of universality of behavior, both of which increase with crowd size. Right, so whatever the crowd is into, that's what they saying that you gonna ride with. The first debate in crowd psychology began in Rome at the first International Congress of Criminal Anthropology on the 16th of November in 1885. The meeting was dominated by Caesar Lombosio, so whatever, and his fellow Italians who emphasize the biological determinants. All right. So Broso, I'm just calling Broso, Lombroso, right? Detailed before the first Congress his theories on the physical anomalies of criminals in his characteristic classification of criminals as born criminals. Think about these things that you hear and know where the root comes from. Or criminals by occasion and metatord and metatords. Those are like, okay, I'm actually, I put it in there for you. Meaning of matitude he is a borderline psychopath, right? That's what that means. Borderline psychopath, right? Um, Enrico Ferri expressed his views of crime as degeneration from profound then insanity, for in most insane persons the primitive moral sense has survived the wreck of their intelligence. Among similar lines were the remarks of Sigri and Morrow, right? A weak response was offered by the French, who put forward an environmental theory of human psychology. Called attentions to the importance of the influence of the social environment upon crime. Professor Alexandria, thought that this avitic and degenerative theories, as held in the Italian school of exaggeration and false interpretations of the facts, and that the important factors was the social environment, right? Meaning that the important factors was the social environment, meaning that the environment that a person's in plays a large role in their actions. If you inside a mob, right, that's wilding out, what would you be in there for if you wasn't planning to do that? Right? If you know what I'm saying, if you at a concert or something, you planning to have fun because that's what everybody came there for. But then you have an element, especially within our community, the bringing your gun to a birthday party and all of that, right? And this is psychological, right? In Paris, during 17th through the 10th through the 17th of August 1889, the Italian school received a stronger rebuke of their biological theories during the Second International Congress of Criminal Anthropology. A radical divergence of the view between the Italian and the French schools was reflected in the proceedings. All right, so we got the Professor Lombardo laid stress upon epilepsy in connection with the theory of the born criminal. Now, I'm gonna get into the epilepsy. I just want to put you on point that this is still in Freemasonry, the devil worshiping, and how epilepsy plays a part in that. Right. So that's going to play a part. I'm gonna bring that up. Right. I want to do it. I'll probably do it after the next break, but I don't want to stop for that because I must talk about it anyway. So I'm not even going to do it. But for those who's paying attention, just remember epilepsy in connection with his theory of the born criminal. Professor Leonce Pierre Manovier characterized Lamborgio's theory as nothing but the exploited science of fairy, whatever is, basically mind and knowledge is a pseudoscience which involved the measurements of the bumps in the skull to predict mental traits. It is based on the concept that the brain is the origin of the mind and that certain brain areas have localized. So when when you seen the people when they used to take the measurements of the skull and all of that, okay? What it is, observed by Lombardi were met with an honest man as well as a criminal, right? Claim that there is no physical difference between them. Right, Drill and others oppose Lombardi's theory in whole or in part. Pelugis found the cause of crime in the failure of the criminal to adapt himself to his social surroundings. You hear that to this day. That same sentiment right there, right? This right here is the ongoing, consensus, surroundings. And Burke and whom tragedy agreed, agreed that physical defects were not marks of the criminal quo criminal. It is in this context that you have a debate between, right, an Italian lawyer and Trude, a French magistrate, on how to determine criminal responsibility in a crowd and hence who to arrest, right? All right, so you see that there for you, all right? And who to arrest, all right? Both thinkers had published early studies on the matter, wrote The Criminal Crowd, and Tard the in French. Earlier literatures on crowd and crowd behavior had appeared as early as 1841 with the publication of Charles Mackey book Extraordinary Popular Delusions and the Madness of Crowds. The attitude towards crowds underwent an adjustment with the publications of 6 volumes, The Origin of Contemporary France, 1875. Right, see that up there? Okay. In particular, works helped to change the opinions of his contemporaries on the actions taken by the crowd during the 1789 revolution. Many Europeans held him in great esteem, while it it's difficult to directly link his work to crowd behavior, it may be said that his thoughts stimulated further studies of crowd behavior. However, it was not until the latter half of the 17th century that scientific interest in the field gained momentum. French physicians and anthropologists, right, Gavin Labonne, became the most influential theorist. Right? So we see that right there. Right? Many Europeans held him as in great esteem. While it is difficult to directly link his works to crowd behavior, right? Just want to highlight that right there, right? Just wanted to see that. Crowd behavior. I don't know if you've seen it. All right, let me see. All right. Right? All right, so where we at here? It goes types of crowds. There is limited research into the types of crowds and crowd membership, and there is no consensus as to the classification of types of crowd. Two recent scholars, Mambusi, right, 1967, and 1995, focused upon purpose of existence and differentiate among crowds, developed a system of 4 types: casual, conventional, expressive, and aggressive. Also classified crowds as spectator, demonstrator, or escaping to correlate to the purpose of gathering, or escape to correlate the purpose of gathering. I don't understand what that last part meant. Another approach to classifying crowds is sociologist Herbert Blumer's system of emotional intensity. He distinguished 4 types of crowds: casual, conventional, expressive, and acting. His system is dynamic in nature. That is, a crowd changes its level of emotional intensity over time and therefore can be classified in any one of the 4 types. Right? Generally, researchers in crowd psychology have focused on the negative aspects of crowds. But not all crowds are volatile or negative in nature. For example, in the beginning of the socialist movements, crowds were asked to put their Sunday dress and march silently down the streets. A more modern example involved the sit-ins during the civil rights movement. So the way I'm hearing it is that was a psychological study, right? Put this man and these people in this situation. Crowds can reflect and challenge the held ideology of their social cultural environment. This can also serve integrative social functions, creating temporary communities. All right. Crowds can be active mobs or passive audiences. Active crowds can be further divided into aggressive, escapist, acquaintive, or expressive mob. Aggressive mobs are often violent and outwardly focused. Examples are football riots and the Los Angeles riots of 1992. Escapist mobs are characterized by a large number of panicked pancake people trying to get out of a dangerous situation. Acquainted mobs occur when large members of people are fighting for limited resources. An expressive mob is any other large group of people gathering for an active purpose. Civil disobedience, rock concerts, and religious revivals all fall under this category. Right. So we back in the building. We back in the building again. All right, I'm just looking, seeing my clarity. I think I'm gonna change my camera up. I don't know. It just seems grainy. I don't know if y'all know what that is, but it just seems grainy. All right. I wanted to do the three theoretic. Oh, hold on. Let me put my what's the name? Put my ad up for y'all real quick. Okay, so I'm thinking, should I go into the theoretical perspectives, right? I want to go into that. I want to see how much of it I see they got the fraudulent theory. This is I'm not sure if I want to do this or not. Cause you know what it is. I be knowing that I want to keep, the viewer. You know what I mean? So you want to not. And since I'm not really engaging with anybody at the present moment, you know what I mean. It's you don't know how much of it they're gonna take in before they, you know, zone out, and then the information is not really gotten. You know, but this is all important. Everything that I'm saying here is how they utilized a system that they studied on you while using you as the guinea pig. Think about that. You know, I'm gonna put up one of my I'm looking for one of my sayings so I can put there with you. By the time the fool learns the game, the players have disappeared. Right now, you see me. I be mentioning um Sigmund Freud and Einstein and all of these people. So by the time they put their works in, you wouldn't even know. Right. So when we take the time to hear, people of modern time, you can understand the new players, the mad scientist, because remember, it's the mad scientist, it's the financier, and it's you as as the test subjects. The U.S. citizen is the global test subject. The black man is the number one guinea pig. That's just how this is going to turn out. As you see, you're going to see. You will see. You're going to be like, oh, wow, okay. All right. And that's why I say in this, I'm trying to get a lawsuit, right? And this is called the Past Reparations Act, right? Because this is deeper than just slavery. This is an all out onslaught on the people deliberately to this day. So this goes beyond a Freedom Act bill. Those people can argue that. I'm talking about something global, something that, yo, man, you know, shit. You're gonna find out. You're gonna see. Once this is all over, you gonna be like, wait a minute, I need to get down with this. Yeah. Cause I'm not saying this. I don't want the smoke inside the mic guard. Uh, right? After this, you're gonna be like, wow, you know what I mean? I never really understood it like that. You know what I mean? You're gonna be amazed at the scheme. I mean, by now, if the things I'm saying, especially within this part of the series, I can understand the other parts. Maybe it might be, something that sounds familiar, but since nobody ever gave it any, substance of how it is, this is the second part. I gave you what they do. Now I'm telling you why they do it and how. The why and how is answered in this part. This is basically the why and how, right? This is, the why is to use a system, right? The manipulation system, and legitimize it to always have a reign over you, right? While studying you, the criminal you, in the aspects of what would make another person fall for that, right? It's just really seeing how much they can get away with fooling the people. You know what I mean? And if you place the lie in the beginning, right? When you got to do a lot to find the truth, because if you're born in the lie, you're born within it. So whether just because your name is in capital letters, you're a commodity. I don't doubt that. What I'm saying is you born in the lie anyway, right? Okay. So let's see. I'm thinking, should I do it? Should I go over to this or not, people? What do y'all think, man? Let me just see how much it is. All right. Let me see this. 3 pages so far. 4 pages. Okay, that's 4 pages. All right, we're gonna do it. We're gonna do it, people. We're gonna do it. All right, you're gonna rock with me. Okay. Um. See, I didn't put up a you know, title for the banner down there. All right. So drop my L. Okay, it goes theoretical perspectives. Le bone. Good, right? Bone is good. The good, right? The good. Held that crowds extended and my fault. He says held that crowds existed in 3 stages: submergence, contingent, and suggestion. See it right there, people. Suggestion. hypnosis, right? So you see, we never left, even if you didn't know, that I'm connecting what the person was talking about. When they was talking about hypnosis and the things, they were talking about these cons, these hustles, and how they noticed the things that people would do and how they would react to certain things through suggestion. So then they took that back, just like how they did in Egypt and Mesopotamia and all of these places. They gathered that information and ran back and used it. You know what I'm saying? That's why I'm very protective of anything of ours. Like I'm like, yo, don't let nobody in it. Like the freestyle battles that you know, what's my man? Smacking them be doing the URLs. Like I was mad when I seen, like what I think is the one out of in Canada or something like that. And I personally wasn't a fan of it. I mean, just because I didn't, not because of any other reason than it's white people trying to put a staple in so they can act like we was already here. And but they don't have no street battles. You see them in little parking lots in college and stuff like that doing stupid shit. You know what I mean? So they didn't go through it and develop that. So I feel like that should be, I mean, I don't mind them in it, but I didn't want them to act like they had a staple in it. Like I'd rather it been, no, y'all got down. I didn't want nobody to be looking over there and thanking them, yo, it wasn't for what's your name, man, they fed me. And I didn't want none of that. You know what I mean? That's what I'm protective of. Anybody acting like, if they offer the hand, then they can take over. Nah. You know what I'm saying? During submergence, the individual in the crowd loses their sense of individual self. Right? Hold on, bring this up a little bit. Right? Oh. Right? See that? All right, it goes, and personal responsibilities. Right? This is quite heavily induced. Heavily induced. Pay attention to that. By the anonymity of the crowd. Contagion refers to the proximity of individuals. The potentialities of the individuals in a crowd to unquestioning following predominant ideas and emotions of the crowd. Right? I'm sorry, I read that all wrong. Where we at? Contagion refers to the propensity of individuals in the crowd to unquestioningly follow the predominant idea and emotions of the crowd. So say you playing music, you in a club, right? You put in a certain idea out. These songs are generating, right, to a whole people through a set time. Certain day, they all getting it. They all getting that information. Now, how they are use that information is the person that knows how to use the triggers. Right? In LeBon's view, this effect is capable of spreading between submerged individuals, much like a disease. Suggestion refers to the period in which the idea and emotions of the crowd are primarily drawn from a shared unconscious ideology. That's just why I used to tell people like the when Tupac got shot and all of that, I was like, nah, I'm not with that shit. Like I was not listening to All Eyes on Me and Me Against the World. The Biggie who what was that album? Ready to Die. None of them. So when people hear me always talk about I don't fuck with Biggie Ready to Die, they assume that I guess like I was listening to Pac at that time. Like, nah. I was mad because I knew that the message was not going to be a good outcome. And so when we see the outcome 20 years later, it speaks for itself of whether or not I saw that. I remember having a picture when I was young, and it was with the pitch and it was a gun in a picture, right? And I remember like telling a father like, "Yo, get rid of that picture." You know what I mean? Like for me, it wasn't, you know, although I was, involved in a lifestyle at that time, I also always been the type of person that was concerned about the impression that would leave on somebody in the future, especially if they don't realize who you really are. Like, okay, people would see, the criminal aspect, the criminal things that was being done by self, right? But they didn't see that when it involved my people, it was in a certain way that 90% out of the time nobody would get hurt, but me most likely. You know what I mean? Now, and the other 10% of that crime would be in a vengeance state where I think that people see the vengeance side and they associate that with how you deal with the world. Like if you are angry enough to like say shoot this person, stab that person or whatever because what you deem is right or wrong, right? People can know a lifestyle and assume that you applying that inside that lifestyle. And you like, nah, it's not even the same thing. Like in my lifestyle, meaning that if I'm selling drugs or whatever the case may be at that time, I hardly ever involved a weapon. You see what I'm saying? Like it wasn't the same thing. It was like the weapon was only for these things. So I wouldn't never wind up in all of those situations taking shorts, dudes doing sucker shit or whatever. It never would revert to, okay, this is how you handle that situation with a gun. A knife or something. Like, nah, these are just the regular losses that people would take. You know what I'm saying? Like, even if you wasn't supposed to be that, if you was a regular person in any business, you would take those type of losses. Now, when it comes to, your life being put in danger, now how you handle those things are different. And so some people, if they wind up in certain situations, they remain that like, yo, I gotta be, you know what I mean? Me, I always separated the business from me. I knew that was business, meaning that I didn't want to be fully attached. So, when dudes is, not to be on some, talk like that stuff, but, just giving you insight. It's like, okay, when like I came in the game when you condemned, you was tripling. You know what I mean? So and that was your minimum. That was for me, my minimum was dribbling. You know what I mean? So when it came down to the hustle being double up, you understand what I'm saying? And they were like, people would come like, let me get 2 for 15. I'm like, nah, you got to give me like, 17. And they be like, why? And I give them this long ass spiel, hey, for you to get it, you know what I mean? Like, that's just basically I was giving it up. I wouldn't necessarily curse them out or nothing like that. It's just like, hey, if you want to sit here and listen to it, or you could just go in your pocket and give me my goddamn, you know what I'm saying, $2 extra or get going and go somewhere else. But once I seen it going in that direction, I knew it wasn't worth being in that business. And this is like 9-8, 9-7. You understand what I'm saying? So this is how long ago I realized that it was going downhill. Like the drought wasn't a drought no more. That was what it was. You understand what I'm saying? Everything was what it was. And especially after, what was that, the 9/11. See, I wasn't around for that though, but I was in Atlanta at that time, but the 9/11, like I heard that really, put a bind on things. So it's just, just what I'm talking about as far as understanding this. Understanding, especially, with the right now let me say this, right? In school, some people, they like real good at math. Not me. I can't do math to save my fucking life. Right? But I've always been good in psychology, social studies, and history. Those are always my favorite subjects in school. You know what I mean? So it was easy for me to, weed out certain things in that field, like understanding, because I was good in good grades. I understood the human mind, you know what I mean, in that sense. So for me, studying and knowing the Tupac thing, and you know what I mean, I always been on point. I tell people at 9 years old, shit, I was on a what you call that shit? On the bench, watching people just float by and shit, watching life, studying it. Always been that theorist, philosopher. You know what I mean? So that's why I don't call myself a conspiracy theorist, but a conspiracy revealers. Because while they were studying us, I'm studying them study us. I'm studying us first, and I'm studying how much of that comes from emulation. You know what I mean? I realized, it was a lot of emulation. So then when you tell people, oh, you think white, you do white, they don't understand, because the emulation is gratifying. Like if that's what you wanted, then why? You know what I mean? Like if your mindset is on that, somebody else is player hating on you, right? So you can't say you because it's like, okay, that's what they want. Like what the fuck could you do about it? Right? Let's get back over to this. Right? It goes, this is quite heavily induced by anatomy of the crowd. Contagion refers to the propensities of individuals in a crowd to unquestionably follow the proponent's idea and emotions of the crowd. And Le Bon views his effects of capable of spreading between some this effect is capable of spreading between submerged, right? Individuals such as disease. Suggestion refers to the period in which the idea and emotions of the crowd is primarily drawn and shared unconscious ideology. Crowd members become susceptible, my fault. What is the crowd members become susceptible to any passing idea or emotion. This behavior comes from an Archean shared unconscious and therefore uncivilized in nature. It is limited to the moral and cognitive ability of the least capable members. I got to give it to you again. All right. Crowd members become susceptible to any passing idea or emotion. This behavior comes from an archaic shared unconscious and is therefore uncivilized in nature. It is limited by the moral and cognitive ability of the least capable members. Le Bon believes that crowds could be a powerful force only for destruction. That's why I gave you the green part again. So it's telling you through these members, you can say these things, Jay-Z, whatever, boom, boom, boom. And those people trying to live that out, right? Crowds could be a powerful force only for destruction. Additionally, Le Bon and others have indicated that crowd members feel a lessened sense of legal culpability due to the difficulty of prospecting individual members of prosecuting, my fault. Where we at here? I want y'all to see that. Okay, prosecuting, right? I don't know. Right? Individual members of a mob. In short, the individual submerged in the crowd loses self-control as a collective mind takes over and makes the crowd member capable of violating personal and social norms. Oh, forgive me there. Forgive me there. Uh, where we at here? Powerful crowd. LeBron and others have indicated that crowd members feel a lesser sense of legal culpability due to the difficulty of in prosecuting individual members of a mob. In short, the individual submerged in the crowd loses self-control at the collective mind as the collective mind takes over and makes the crowd member capable of violating personal and social norms. Mm, mm. LeBron's idea that crowds foster anonymity and generate emotions has been contested by some critics. Clark McFarlane pointed out studies which shows that the maddening crowd does not take on a life of its own, apart from the thoughts and intentions of members. Norris Johnson, after investigating a panic in a 1979 Who concert. Only reason why I'm stopping is because how was they able to pull off the study? So they used for me, it's like you used a Who concert for your case in point. Hmm. That means you had to been there, set up shop, and cause situations for things to happen, right? Concluding that the crowd was composed of many small groups and people mostly trying to help each other. Additionally, LeBron's theory ignored the social cultural context of the crowd, which some theorists argue argue can disempower social change. Disputed the assumption that crowds are homogeneous, right? Suggestions instead that participants exist on a continuum differing in their ability to deviate from social norms. Who's here again? Wait, hold on. Who we got here again? Sigmund Freud, huh? Huh? Sigmund Freud, once again, people. The crowd behavior theory primarily consisted of the idea that becoming a member of a crowd serves to unlock the unconscious mind. This occurs because the superego or moral center of consciousness is displaced by a large crowd to be replaced in a charismatic crowd to be replaced by a charismatic crowd leader. Crowd behavior theory primarily consists of the idea that becoming a member of a crowd serves to unlock the unconscious mind. This occurs because the superego or moral center of consciousness is displaced by the large crowd to be replaced by a charismatic crowd leader. McDougall argues simultaneously with Freud, saying that simplistic emotions are widespread and complex emotions are rare. In a crowd, the overall shared emotional experience reverts to the latest common denominator, LCD, leading to primitive levels of emotional expression. The organizational structure is that of the primal horde, citizenized societies. And Freud states that one must rebel against the leader, reinstate the individual mortality in order to escape from it. Right? Moscow, whatever his name, expanded on this idea, discussing how dictators such as Mao Zedong and Joseph Stalin have used mass psychology to place themselves in this horde leader position. Pay attention, right? You there? Theodore Adorno criticized the belief in the spontaneity of the masses. According to him, the masses were an artificial product of administrated modern life. The ego of the Bulgarian subject dissolved itself, giving way to the id and the physiologicized psychologicized subject. Furthermore, Adorno stated the bond linked the masses to the leader through the speculated of is frond. Hold on. When the leader becomes conscious of mass psychology and takes it into their own hands and cases to exist in a certain sense, just a little as people believe in the depths of their hearts that the Jews are the devil, do they completely believe in their leader? Do they not really identify themselves with him, but act this identification, perform their own enthusiasm? And this participates in their leader's performance. It is probably the suspicion of the fictionist and their own group psychology, right? Psychology, which makes fascist crowd so merciless and unapproachable. If they would stop to reason for a second, the whole premise would go to pieces, and they would be left to panic. De-individualization theory, right? Theory is largely based on the idea of Le Bon and argues that the typical crowd situation factors such as anonymity, group unity, and arousal can weaken personal controls, right? Guilt, shame, self-elevating behavior by distancing people from their personal identities and reducing their concerns for social elevation. This lack of resistance increases individuals' sensitivity to the environment and lessens rational forethought, which can lead to antisocial behaviors. More recent theories have stated that the institutionalized hinges upon a person being unable, due to situations, to have strong awareness of their self in an object of attention. This lack of attention frees the individual from the necessity of normal social behavior. What American sociologist Leon Fistfinger and colleagues first established the concept of de-individuation in 1952. It was further defined by American psychologist Philip Zim whatever, who detailed why mental input and output becomes blurry by such factors as anonymity, lack of social contrast, and sensory overload. Famously, Stanford prison experiment is a strong argument for the power of whatever, man. Further experiments had mixed results when it came to aggressive behaviors, and has instead shown that the normative expectations surrounding the situation of the de-individuations influence behaviors. If one of the as a KKK member, aggression increases, but it is as a nurse, aggression does not increase. Right? A further distinction has been proposed between public and private whatever, right? When private aspects of self are weakened, one becomes more subject to crowd impulses, but not necessarily in a negative way. It is when one no longer attends to public reaction or judgment of individual behavior that antisocial behavior is elicited, right? Also did not view as exclusively as a group phenomenon, and applied the concept to suicide, murder, and interpersonal hostility. Right? Convergence theory. Right. All right. So with this, I'm hoping that everybody has been able to keep up with the sense of what the charlatan is, how it plays a part with the quack, right? And how excuse me, and how this study, right, of manipulation has given a group of people this upper hand with constantly using things against you. They showing you even through, I'm gonna pull up that article when they was talking about the Stanford prison experiment, right? We're gonna look into that. And there was something else um I wanted to dive deeper into. I'm gonna go back and look for it. But anyway, when we look at this, when we take this into consideration, what is on the table? We have a system of manipulators, right? who are manipulating the manipulator and the good guy to find out how to constantly keep a bind on you. Just like how you got the church having to pay their tithes, these mob figures and these things, they pay their tithes, but they also have a chance to clean up and swindle you with a suit and tie. If that makes sense and shit. I don't know. I don't know if I was being heard or not, but if that makes sense, you know what I mean. So that's so to understand how they came into this, I gave you to where they even told you where they came from because they had a town full of quack doctors in the town. I showed you how they team up and act like they don't know each other to lead you into a certain direction. I told you how they use this system in its totality to control the people. The manipulation factors and all of those things that come into play. That's how, from a thing called hypnotism, which is this, the cons, the hustles, within those things is a whole other lessons and all of that that's being put to them to generate to the crowd because who's gonna argue with the killer, the gangsters and all of that, right? So if you watching shows like Sopranos and you see the last season and they start talking the homosexuality stuff and all of that, you go, oh, remember I showed you how they use the bed backboard, the headboard as your hypnotic focal point, right? So I'm gonna break down how we're gonna go back into the hypnotism and mesmerism. I just wanted, y'all to stay to understand that this is a hustle. They tell you, I didn't go into this, on my own. They mentioned it, and then this is what opens up when you go in there. So you understand that it's a psychological thing, even there. So as we go on and you start understanding, I'ma literally lead you to the group responsible. Now, there's subgroups and all of that. We're going to break all of them down as well. But at the end, the wizard will be revealed. You're going to see, you're going to be like, wow, I didn't know that this was happening like this. And I could tell you in advance, but you wouldn't know how to aid and abet and get in past reparations. See, because with this information, as time goes on, your mind is going to start looking and gathering, and then we'll have a whole file. See, what I'm giving to you is how you can do the aiding and abetting in things that I might miss. I can't catch everything. I'm not everywhere. You understand what I'm saying? So inside of that is how you are able to aid and abet on this if you paying attention to this. If this stuff is making sense to you, it's going to resonate. I'm pointing out certain things to you. If I'm pointing them out, you should be going in before if I'm not touching on it yet and I'm like, yo, this right here, That's for you to go and get to it. Get to it. So then when the information comes up, you understand what is being said. I'm never not highlighting and telling you, pay attention to this. This is very important right here. And I'm always showing you the connection. I'm never not showing you the connection. You know what I'm saying? I'm never not showing you the connection. That's one thing I'm not doing. Right? I'm not leaving that out, man. I'm giving you it all. So even if something happens, somebody can still go back to the information from everything that I got right here. Everything that I said thus far, you should be able to take it and still figure out what the hell I was talking about. You understand what I'm saying? I'm telling you, the code has been broken now. There has been people who came and argued certain things, but I don't think they're gonna take the approach and have all of the information that I've gathered, through this time to say, nah, this is what it is. A lot of people all around the board suffers behind this. I'm doing this for them. The lost, I don't mean just the mental, I mean physically gone behind that system. This cruel, wicked system, and we find ourselves still indulging in as well. Right? I don't know if y'all can hear that, so if I could. But you understand what I'm saying? Like, if y'all not understanding the system that's being set up, just look, I'm giving you the breakdowns. Some things I'm gonna have to go in and touch up. You know what I mean? Just little stuff, nothing major. You know what I mean? But nonetheless, everything. One part is just to break down the tools. You know what I mean? The tools. And that's the people too. The ideas, how it's working, all of that is inside the toolbox. Right? A matter of fact, that's what I'm gonna name that whole section. I'm gonna put that section the toolbox. The devil's toolbox. This is, the devil's workshop. So now, we gonna see how those tools are being utilized. And that's what I'm doing now. I'm showing you how the tools are being utilized. Right? So you getting it. You getting it, right? You seeing I laid down the toolbox. Right? So we ain't even get under the curtain yet. You know what I mean? I told you how he gets his financier, to go to places like Bohemian Grove. That's where he gets his financier from. And with that money, you understand what I'm saying? He's allowed to put this trickle down into these lodges and, the Sigmund Freud testings and all of these theories can be put into play. And so, like I said, hold on, let me go back to this, right? That's why I said this. By the time the fool learns the game, the players has dispersed. I wanted to put this one up there too. Examine what's being said, not who is speaking. Don't judge me. Because the things that I did, it was in order for me to have to learn this. So that right there makes me discredited because, I'm supposed to, and run the hustle, be, something to you. If I'm this well versed, then I should be able to jump into the con. Not with it, man. I wasn't never with it. Never that dude. You know what I mean? Just wasn't that dude. I'm sorry. So, you can use this information. I'm sorry, I'm looking over here at something real quick. So you can use this information in whatever way you see fit. But at the end, you gonna look at, like I said, you gonna look at these Masonic groups. First, you gonna be surprised that as many times as I mentioned it, you gonna be like, wow, yeah, I see it now. Right? And you're gonna understand this hustle that's being rocked on the brain. And once you see that, what are you gonna do? Because you're gonna realize that like I said, I'm gonna show you some things you're gonna see. You're just gonna stick around. That's what I'm gonna tell you. You stick around, you're gonna be surprised, man. You're gonna be like, oh shit. I mean, I know by now you gotta be like, oh shit. Anybody paying attention right now is like, yo, that's crazy. This is a criminal empire. I showed you the body snatches, right? We are paying attention to these dates, right? Don't worry about it. I'm gonna bring the dates back up. We gonna see the time frame of this stuff, okay? We gonna see when they remember, pay attention to when they introducing certain dates. Oh, the prison thing at this date. Pay attention. I should be highlighting it for you, but I'll do it from here on out if you want. You know what I mean? But what I'm telling you is this is the level that I understand things. You know what I mean? So when we step into, the movies and all of that, and I'm really breaking this down to you, you will understand that whole structure over there for you to see it not only on the screen, but how it's supposed to affect you, which it'll fail from there on out. That's the main objective for it, not to affect you first. And you would know that you beat it because you will know what was told on there and you will see it out on the world. Now, once you see it out on the world, when you look and you're like, oh shit, that shit all out there, you're like, oh yeah, I caught it. Now I see it. And so then from then you can design your way of, I got see, this part right here is what I know, right? When the books come out on how to do certain things as far as you not, yeah, I will be selling that. As I'm saying I gotta, pay bills, motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? I think this right here is all valuable information. I'm giving it away for free. You can go figure it out yourself. You wouldn't have to need me. Right? But with this, I'm just certifying that it works. How to break the spell. That's what you want to learn. You want to learn how to break the spell, people. Now that's the main objective. So if you believe that there's technology and spells and all of that, this is where you should come in order to learn how to break those spells. You see what I'm saying? Like me, I just, it's like I never was indoctrinated. You know what I'm saying? And then by the time, those who tried, I was a wild beast already. So nah. And that's how I'm here today, because my mind was already like the fuck away from me. I seen, like when you say don't beat me in the head and all, I already knew what that meant. You understand what I'm saying? So I don't know. This is what I'm just telling you. It's like, yeah, be on point, people. Be on point to the realness. You know what I'm saying? I'm thinking, should I download these shows and also put them up? But I don't want to lose the live. I ain't got really that many views. Shit. I ain't trying to lose it, and shit. You know what I mean? So, nonetheless, I got a little bit of like a sip of water left. All right, all right. I'm just really chilling out, waiting for the time to go. Only got like 2 minutes left. I was thinking, what else did we cover? So basically, inside this, you understand that the charlatan is basically, the showman. When you look at a commercial and you see those people, that's the snake oil salesman. So by the time the doctor pushes it to you, his responsibilities comes less than nil. You understand what I'm saying? Unless he's deliberately in cahoot to something, you can prove it, right? But outside of that, what is it? You understand what I'm saying? Like, what is it outside of that? Is just, you know what I'm saying? It's just what it is, baby. You gotta do what you gotta do. And that's how they rocking you. It's like he's the shill. Right? He's playing like he don't know he's the middleman. He's getting paid too. All he gotta do is not get caught. And it's been proven that they done that. This is the hustle. In order for you to be hip, you gotta be hip to the whole thing. You can't take little pieces and think that, okay, I got it. You see how I'm taking you into a system and bringing you back out and showing you it in the world around you. Because even the people that's in it, they only like, the all the way up to the master mason and all of that. Even them, they don't